With Apple introducing the iPhone 14 series, is it worth getting the iPhone 14? Let's discover as we unbox, and I'll share my personal thoughts during my review time. Removing the lid, you'll get to see your iPhone in the new colour for the iPhone 14, which is Starlight. This is also used in the Pro variants. So this has an aluminium frame and the ceramic shield. So whereas the Pro versions have the stainless steel, this has an aluminium frame. Pretty much the same design as what we've seen for a few generations now, and this very much takes a lot of specs and detail from the iPhone 13 Pro and just adds on a couple of little extras, but only very minimal. Let's see what else we get in the box. You'll have your Lightning to USB-C connection, so USB-C will be coming to the new iPhones as they are making their way to new devices now from Apple, but this is USB-C to Lightning. Looking at our paperwork now, designed by Apple in California. So with the UK models and EU models, you're still going to get a SIM card. In America, it's now an eSIM. We have a range of different paperwork here, and then finally you have one Apple sticker. And it's a shame it's not in the new colour of your iPhone. So on your iPhone you have the quick start option, but also you have a range of accessibility settings that you can change and adjust, and I'm going to go through these in great detail in a new series focused on accessibility on your iOS device. For myself, so I use large text, but what I'm going to do is actually skip through the setup process as I've created my own video, which I'll leave a link in the video description, and then I'll share a lot more about this iPhone 14 and answer that question, is it worth it? So with our iPhone now set up and actually using this device for the last 4 weeks, taking it on many different trips, including Paris and including the NFL here in the UK, I've really put it through its limits and really tested out all of its features. And I'm going to come with my personal thoughts towards the end, but let's just share some of the key details. So you have a 6.1 Super Retina XDR Oled display that's sharp and vibrant. It's noticeably different though in brightness, because this only has 800 nits, whereas the Pro variants have a lot higher options. You do have the option of 1200 nits peak brightness, so that's only with HDR content. The big difference you are going to notice here, if you've used it before on a previous device, maybe a iPhone Pro series, or even on an Android device, is the Pro Motion option and the refresh rate of the screen. So this only runs at 60Hz, where noticeably different when using 120Hz with my iPhone 13 Pro and also when I use the iPhone 14 Pro. You'll notice this when scrolling through social media or scrolling through a web page with loads of detail and loads of content. Its resolution is the same though as the iPhone 13 Pro series. The resolution is 2532 by 1170 and it will give you a pixel density of 460 pixels per inch. Both models have the ceramic shield and this comes with the aerospace aluminium, whereas the Pro variants from last year and this year you get the stainless steel options. So when you look at the front camera, so the true depth front camera is slight improvement compared to the iPhone 13 Pro model, and that's because it's a 12 megapixel camera sensor with an f1.9 aperture now, which has been improved. Autofocus with focus pixels, 4K video recording at 24, 25, 30 or 60 frames per second, 1080p HD video recording at 25, 30 or 60 frames per second, and you have the cinematic mode now up to 4K at HDR at 30 frames per second, HDR video recording with Dolby Vision up to 4K at 60 frames per second. So there's been a little bit of an improvement there compared to the iPhone 13 Pro model, but again it's quite a large notch. We don't have that new dynamic island that we see on the Pro variants. So shifting around to the dual camera system on the back, so the Pro variants have the 3 camera setup. With the normal standard variant of the iPhone 14 you're going to get a dual camera setup, and again it's the same as what you would have got in the iPhone 13 Pro series from last year. We have a 12 megapixel main sensor which is an f1.5 aperture, sensor shift optical image stabilization, a 7 element lens, 100% focus pixels. This is all protected thanks to a sapphire crystal lens cover. You're going to get 12 megapixel ultra wide, so really focus and get everyone in your view with 120 degrees field of view, and it's a 5 element lens. This aperture is f2.4. This is actually new for this model, so this has been updated a little bit. You've got 2 times optical zoom and a digital zoom up to 5 times. The photonic engine as well, so this is the new option that Apple has included. You've got 4K video recording all the way up to 60 frames per second and as low as 24 frames per second. You have 1080p HD video recording all the way from 25 to 60 frames per second. Action mode allows you to capture the action and really reduces that shaking. And I found it really good as well. I was running up and down hills, I was running up and down stadiums, trying to actually see how it works. It works really well and I really enjoyed that. I just want to pause and talk about accessibility. The power button is tactile, but however, I feel a polar difference in color, like the Apple Watch Ultra we've seen with a bright orange. That would be great to see here. And Apple, you can keep that tip for free, but let me know if you want to know more. iOS 16 is full of accessible features that helps you use your phone no matter your disability. Being visually impaired, I use VoiceOver and I use magnification, but there are so many options to choose from to make sure that you can use your device no matter your disability. So iOS 16 brings a breath of fresh air with the ability to change your lock screen and home screen to completely new customizable screens. Easily set focus modes which decide which apps you'll see and get notifications from whilst you're asleep, your work or personal, and you can go through and decide which apps you are going to allow depending on your focus mode. So I have one for work and I have one for personal life. With iOS 16 you do get the option now to edit a message, you can unsend a message, and you can also mark a message as unread. So if you want to unsend a message, this does have a time limit of around 15 minutes though, so be careful. You have the option of copying and pasting, which is so easy now, and you can take an image where you just hold down, it shimmers, and you can copy and paste that image anywhere you want to. There's been a huge update to Dictation, so I use Dictation for notes, voice notes, and even writing scripts, and they've had the ability now to add in punctuations. Coming back to our device, pretty much the same as the iPhone 13 Pro here, is it has the A15 Bionic chipset, 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, 5-core GPU and 16-core neural engine, and it has 6GB of RAM. So something new this year is emergency SOS and crash detection. So with crash detection, your iPhone 14 can detect a serious car crash and call the 999 service when you can't. Here in the UK, we would call 999 for when you have an emergency, or it would call your emergency services depending on the countries you are and let them know that you've been in a car crash. But it's nice to have that option, and emergency SOS uses satellite signals to detect where you are, potentially when you don't have phone signal as well. Really nice option to see here, especially for those that go out trekking or want to go and explore the world but actually fallen off the grid but still need help and a hand. So when you're out and about trekking around the world, it's nice to know that this device has an IP68 rating, so up to 6 meters for 30 minutes in water. So it will survive. So a quick dunk down the toilet, or if your child's got it and thrown it in the bath or thrown it in a puddle, no need to worry, just a quick wash off and it will work fine. So one thing around connectability is that this device is a 5G model and Bluetooth has been improved. So it's a Bluetooth 5.3 compared to Bluetooth 5 on the iPhone 13 Pro. So when it comes to battery and power and performance, it's lasting all day. It says it's up to 20 hours per day, but for myself, I'm getting it just. It has come to a few days when going to Paris and traveling, using it all the time, taking photos on social media, uploading, downloading materials. I noticed it dwindled very quickly, but that's very heavy usage. So the battery inside this model is a 3279 mAh battery, has MagSafe wireless charging up to 15 watts, Qi wireless charging up to 7.5 watts, and up to 50% charge in just 30 minutes if you use the 20 watt adapter. And all of these specs and all of these options come in at a good price. The storage options vary from 128GB to 512GB, so that is a fixed storage option. There's no SD card, as you know, with iPhone. So you can use the iCloud system as an extra storage option, which I do. I push media up there and then delete it off my phone, but it's saved in the iCloud. But 128GB variant is okay. 512GB is a good option, but it depends what your budget is. 128GB version starts at £849 here in the UK, and a 512GB variant is £1,179. They're the details. Take away what you can. So for me, a lot of the details are the same as the iPhone 13 Pro series that we had last year. They've just sprinkled a couple of little bits on top to keep us entertained and keep us thinking it's a new device. iOS 16 is a breath of fresh air. It has brought a real improvement. It seems to be a lot faster, a lot more fluid and easy to use. For me, would I upgrade to this device? Well, no. If I had an iPhone 12 or even 11 series, potentially I would wait for the iPhone 15, as you're going to see a dramatic change, as they always say. I wouldn't get this device. It's a great option though if you are anything like a XR, a 10, even 11, it is quite a big upgrade. You are going to get the new features, new options, and enjoy having a new camera. Always really crisp, clean images with the iPhone. I've been showing that as I've been talking. And even video, when I'm going to the NFL or traveling around Paris, video quality is fantastic. As you may know, I actually record all of my content on an iPhone 13 Pro Max. But for myself, I like to be open and honest here on Ricky's Tech Talk. And I think it's a good option if you want to upgrade. You're not going to miss out if you don't upgrade though. Take away from that what you wish. So when it comes to price, you can either buy it outright, as I've mentioned, or you could check out Vodafone UK, who have supplied this device for me to make this review. So massive thank you to them. I will leave a link in the video description. But I want to know from you, are you upgrading to the iPhone 14 series? If yes, what model? If no, why have you chosen not to? If you're moving away from Apple, please let me know also. It'd be great to hear from you. For me, Ricky, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.